What's up, everybody? My name is Benji Travis, and I am so excited to be here. If you know anything about myself, YouTube is a place I've been working at, from the comfort of my home as a YouTuber for literally over a decade. And so we've had the privilege, my wife and I and our team, to work for a lot of different brands, a lot of different sponsorships. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So this is Grow with Video Live, and I'm a guest speaker here. Sean is a good friend of mine, and we started Video Influencer together. But for today's topic, we're going to be talking about how to get the attention of brands, land more deals, and charge premium prices. One of the things that's nice about working with brand deals is there's a ton of opportunity, more so now than ever. I mean, normally if I was speaking at Sean's event, I would be here in person with you on a stage, but that's not happening for obvious reasons. And I do believe, even if we get back to some kind of norm, people are more comfortable now doing these virtual events and doing things digitally, and it's going to affect how important influencers are in the marketing space. One of the big pieces of information I want to share before I get into anything is how much money was spent in 2019 alone. So in 2019, in the US alone, over $200 billion in marketing and advertising dollars was spent in this industry. And a huge chunk went to influencers, whether it was superstars, sports stars, celebrities, and even digital influencers on YouTube, on Instagram, on all these different platforms. And if you want to tap into that, I'm going to be sharing not only the basics and the principles that we follow to be able to position ourselves for those, but some of the tactics we have. Getting right into it, the first thing I want to focus on is they need you more than you need them. Why this is so important to remember is I do believe that when you get into a brand sponsorship, whether it's a company or a small mom and pop shop, whatever it might be, the dynamics, that they need you. You as a creator, create content regularly, come up with ideas, record on your camera, edit it and put it out there. And then you hit up your influence, you engage with them, and you do this regularly, almost to a point where it's effortless compared to what it would take for a brand. So if a brand were to do what you do on a regular basis, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, it would cost them some money. It would cost them money to come up with the ideas. They have to pay people to come up with the ideas, then to pay people to execute on those ideas, and then create the content, whether it's recording and editing, all that kind of stuff. It really stacks up. So do not discount what you bring to the table when considering doing brand deals. Too many influencers get into this game, and obviously they might not even have an influence, so they just already automatically think, great, I got this opportunity. Realize if you're getting approached by a brand, the fact that you can create high quality content already is a big deal, and do not discount that. All right, so the first thing we're going to get into is basics first. As you can see, the first thing we're going to talk about is niche focused channel. So what's really important, if you're going to start doing this and you're starting at zero, or even if you're a seasoned YouTuber, what's going to set you apart to set yourself up for premium rates is be a channel that sets yourself apart from the competition. You want to almost make it so you have very few competition. The way I like to describe it is whether it's a random viewer, a subscriber, or a loyal fan, they should be able to describe your channel in one line. Very simply put, shouldn't be complex, and that unique tagline for your channel is what's going to help you negotiate those better deals, work with those better brands. Example that I'm going to use multiple times is my wife, Judy, of It's Judy's Life. We're a family vlogger, but she is an Asian American minority mom who loves to share her experiences of parenting and having a family. So that line, that sentence describes her channel and sets her apart from other influencers. So brands looking for an audience that would follow that kind of content creator, she is in high demand because of that. So make sure you have a niche focused channel. And if you don't, think about what is it? Like, what is it I bring to the table that I want to offer people? These are basics for content creation generally. Next is quality content. Not only do you want quality content, you want to always be striving to make it better, because this is what's really important to brands. They want to make sure, for us, it's going to be wholesome, family-friendly content. But any brand, they want to put their product or their service or their logo matched up with the kind of content that's going to make them look good. So always try to improve your camera quality, your editing techniques, so ultimately the video put out. And remember, this is also what's going to attract the people that are most important in this whole circumstance, which is the audience. So if you have a quality content, people get value out of it. Not only are they going to watch and you get a view, but you'll get subscribers. And that's the beginning of building your influence. Next, growth. Now, if you're here on YouTube and you're trying to start a channel, you need to grow, right? You need to get subscribers. But one of the number one easiest ways to raise your rates from what you're charging today to what you can charge next week or next year is growing. So put out content that is always in front of people on platforms that help you get discovered. So this is why Sean and I, we love YouTube. This is why we wrote YouTube Secrets, not just like video secrets, because you want to always make sure that you're putting out content that's going to help you gain more of those subscribers as time goes on. Lastly, engagement. So this is what sets influencers on the digital landscape apart from traditional media celebrities. That engagement, that relationship you build, and that trust that you get from that. And it all starts with replying to comments, replying to @replies, having these conversations with people who are either just fans or loyal viewers, or even just the person just there to get something, real quick, right? Don't discount it, because all these basic principles, niche focused channel, quality content, growth, engagement, are the basics that you always need to be following. One of the biggest mistakes influencers make or creators when they're first starting out is they're prematurely focused on the brand deals or how to monetize. They forget that this is the essence. This is the foundation of what makes a channel successful, and it's what's also indirectly or directly going to help you get more brand deals and better brand deals. Okay, next we're going to be talking about the principles of brand deals, the things that you need to take into account to be successful when it comes to working with brands. And again, we're going to try to get to the Q&A as soon as possible. These principles are laying down the foundation in addition to the basics that's going to help you be able to achieve the things that I want to teach you how to do. The first thing you're going to want to do is know the market. You need to know what influencers are charging. You want to know what brands expect to pay. And the one takeaway here is make sure you know more than the other side, whether it's an agency, advertising, or the brand itself. You want to know more than them, because that's going to help you have a little more leverage when it comes to the negotiations. And the first part of this, in terms of knowing the market, is get information from past and current experiences. Now, if you're just starting out on YouTube, this is going to be kind of difficult. But as you get going, your first deal, your third deal, your 10th deal, use that as a reference, your first direct. And you know what? Better than what the market says, that is what people are willing to pay. So I always use what I was doing as the best representation. But the second best place is other influencers and creators. So what I like to do here is I build lots of friendships and relationships with other people, not only in my niche, but just in the landscape in this industry. So even if it's one that's completely different from me. So for example, I've got a food channel and we've got a family vlog, but I'll become friends with somebody that has like a huge kids cartoon channel, or somebody that's into, I'd say, tech, like Sean. And I like to ask them, like, so how much are companies paying you? Like, what are you charging for rates? Because it's going to give you an idea of how much money's in the space, the different dynamics, the different variables. And then even better, if you are friends with somebody that, is technically a competitor, but really it's a colleague of yours in the same niche, they can tell you what the going rate is. This is really important too, because There's nothing worse than doing a great job and you've got quality content and you've been charging this rate, and then this new person comes in and they're undercharging, they're undervaluing what they bring to the table, which lowers your rate. So it's important for us to all communicate with each other. The third point, or the third way to know what the market is have some kind of management. So make sure that you have a talent manager or you're talking to other talent managers. Now, you might not be able to afford having one on your team if you're just starting out, and maybe you don't have quite the budget, or maybe the brand deals aren't big enough because they typically work off of some kind of retainer or a percentage off the deals. But it's so important to have that manager. And remember, whether it's a talent rep that works at an agency or they own their agency, the biggest value they bring to you other than representing you is that they work with a lot of other brands, a lot of other campaigns. So they're pulling from all those different resources to know what you should charge. Lastly, professional relationships. So this could be attorneys. This could be people that work at the advertising companies, at the agencies that represent these brands, or brands themselves. People that are doing deals, whether it is an influencer or somebody that supports an influencer. When I would go to events, and sometimes some of these bigger YouTubers that have a whole entourage, sometimes I was more interested in talking to their team than the influencer themselves, because usually they're bombarded with fans, because those support people, they're the ones that's doing all the behind the scenes work. So in terms of brand deals, great resource, and they're going to share. Again, I've had more transparency with other people about brand deals than not. So building that relationship is so important. So, a lot there to understand what the market is, but between those four, those are great resources. Next is know your value. Now, obviously, this is going to be done by knowing what the market is and what you bring to the market and the relationship between that. But know your value. So we talked about a whole bunch of things earlier, but this is the one line I always want to share with people. Remember, your audience is made up of humans who trust you. Their attention and trust in you is a value you bring to a brand. If you understand that, number one, and always live by that principle, you're always going to have more leverage, because you're coming from a place of strength, right? Of confidence, knowing that, again, going back to my first line, the brands need you and your audience, because it's so much work. Hey, if you're an influencer already, or you're building a YouTube channel, you know how hard it is. Don't let these brands come in and strong arm you into doing something because they think that the opportunity is so big. That's one of the most bogus lines where, like, we feel like this would be a great tester for a long-term relationship. So this is like the budget that we have, but it could be bigger later on. I almost never, ever do any of the discounting, especially now, because, again, we're privileged to have the influence and the reputation, but don't let the fact that you're just starting out pressure you into doing anything against the value that you carry, okay? So even starting from zero, first thing to know your value, starting from zero, you have value already. You can literally charge rates that are probably much higher than you would think, even if you have 0 subscribers, because remember, the content you create already has a value. If a company wants to create a commercial, it can cost anywhere from a few hundred to a few thousand, sometimes $10,000+. One of the things I mentioned when it comes to how much is spent in the US, the Super Bowl, to get a 1-minute spot in the Super Bowl, which is really the only place people are willing to actually watch commercials, I think is about 10 million per minute. So it gives you an idea. Obviously, like our YouTube channel, most YouTube channels aren't nearly the Super Bowl, but it's what brands are willing to pay to get in front of people. And that's what you bring to the table that's most valuable, is the attention from your loyal viewers. So even at 0, the content you're creating is really important, because that costs money for them to produce. Next, this is just a general reference, 1,000 per 10,000 views. Now, Say you only have 100 views. Well, remember that 1,000 per 10,000, it starts after that initial value, right? How much does it cost for you to create that video for them, whether it's on your platform or their platform? How much would they have to pay on the regular market? Plus this. Now, this 1,000 per 10,000 views can easily scale up to 2x that, 3x that, 10x. I know of some channels that per 10,000 views charge $10,000. And this is because there's so many variables that go into it. So this next slide shows you all these different variables. Your niche, right? Like, is it a unique niche? Instead of being a gardening channel, are you an organic tomato gardening channel? The value of your audience. So remember, if you've got an audience that's more valuable than a general audience because they spend more money, well, that's going to affect your rate. Maybe you built a whole audience around luxury yachts. Well, those audience, other than the ones that just like to dream, are probably potential buyers of yachts, and you have to be wealthy, right? So depending on who your audience is. Next, quality of content. We already mentioned this. This directly is in relation to the cost it would be for the brand to create that content, right? 4, ability to sell. This is probably the number one thing you have to always think about. There are salespeople that make tons of money that travel all over the country and the world, and all they do is sell their company's products or services. So if you're a content creator who not only has quality content and has an audience, if you can sell not only your product, but other people's product, you definitely should raise your rates, because that's ultimately what the brands are trying to do. Next, fan loyalty. If you can get your fans to go to any website, any video, engage in a certain way, that's going to be a huge value too. You know, there's some influencers, they put out entertaining content, but the viewers aren't really fans. They just watch and get entertained, and then they're back to normal life. Some fans, they're like engulfed into the whole life. They love everything they do. They watch the vlog channel, the behind the scenes channel, these spin-off channels. If you got that kind of audience, huge value, and make sure you protect that value when considering your rates. Last 2 is the demand for you and the market rates. So let's talk about the demand. Say you've been doing this like my wife and I, you've been doing a long time, and there's a high demand for brands to be in your videos, integrated into your content, or to hire you to create content for them. Well, that also is supply and demand. That's directly going to affect your rates. And lastly, we talked about market rates. It's again going back to the idea of like what's going on in the market, because if there's more competition and they're charging less, definitely something to consider. All right, we're going to blast through these. So again, we want to get to Q&A. And again, usually just let me know if there's anything technical difficulties. Well, but the next few things is know your value, right? Know your value. We already talked about this, and have rates for everything. So that was the third point I want to mention. Make sure you actually charge for all the things that the brands want from you. It's not just the integration into your content. Maybe they want certain key messaging. Maybe they want a certain call to action. Maybe they want to own your content. If they want to own it and use it on their platforms, that's what definitely going to cost money. Maybe they want you to put it on other platforms. Never assume, especially when these reps will say, hey, well, these other creators do it for free. They might be completely lying, right? They might actually be right, but are you going to be one of those influencers? I don't think so. I want you to be the kind of influencer that charges for every little thing, because you know that is very valuable, and they would have to pay someone else for it, okay? And so let's get into one of the last principles, which is protecting your value. So we just went through a whole bunch of points about understanding your value, how to find out what the market value is. Now it's your time to stand up and protect your value that you create, right? That you bring to the table. So that's the first point, is stand up for the value you worked to create. Remember, you worked very hard, not only to create this content and this channel, but build an audience. And I mentioned before, like that is the backbone, right? That trust you have. So make sure you stand up for it. I always tell people when they're asking me for suggestions on how to charge premium rates or raise your rates, say no to more deals than you say yes. Never be desperate for a deal, especially in the beginning. This is why oftentimes I suggest that people have some kind of monetization strategy outside of brand deals until you can get to a place where you have a little bit more leverage. Have other ways to make money, even if you have to have a job. But, brand deals, some people don't agree with them. They say like, well, I'd rather sell my own product, or I don't think that I want to spend time promoting someone else's brand. I can tell you from doing this and making 7 figures consistently over many, many years. And even with your audience fluctuating, sometimes they're really into it and maybe not into it. Subscribers go up, sometimes go down. Impressions are different depending on the season of life. Our brand deals have continuously gotten more valuable. We charge the highest rates we've ever charged. And it's because of all the things that we've done, right? Building our reputation and the quality of content, the value of our audience, and also just because we're known in the space. So to get there, it takes a little bit of work. And at the beginning, it might not make sense, but definitely stand up for your value. Next. I already mentioned it. Say no more than you say yes. Lastly, have representation. So we talked about this a little bit earlier about talent management. Well, it doesn't just have to be a talent manager. This can also be an attorney. Attorneys, they're paid to stand up for their clients, right? They're paid so that they can look at contracts and look at these terms. Don't discount what they bring to the table. Also, even if you have a family friend or a family member, that could be someone that represents you. The last kooky idea I heard from a legit influencer who's got multiple millions of subscribers. Oftentimes people are afraid to say no, or they don't want to hurt the feelings of these people, which in business, it's not about feelings, okay? It's all about what is a win-win for both sides. So this person actually represented themselves. They took the phone calls as a fake talent manager. They replied back to all their emails on their own thing as their talent manager. So having that the disconnect is really good so that you can have the good cop, bad cop. You want to be the good cop, right? You want to be the one that's friendly, positive, and all that. And the last thing too is focus on fewer deals, bigger opportunities. Basically, this is the most important thing that's helped affect our rates over the course of 10 years for Judy and I, is we are not afraid to say no to deals. And also, we're okay waiting for the bigger opportunities. And they're out there. Not only bigger campaigns because of all the platforms we have, and obviously the impressions we get because of our influence, but even long-term deals too. That's way better. If you can do one big deal versus many smaller deals, or a long-term deal with one brand rather than 10 over the course of a year, that's less work up front. That initial communication, the negotiation, the contract terms, the going back and forth, and just getting to know the brands and the research you need to do to understand the products or the actual, the services that the brand wants you to integrate. Well, it takes a lot of time. If you can just do it once and make it part of a bigger deal or a long-term partnership, way better for your brain, way better for your efficiency, and ultimately, what it all comes down to is you can focus on content. So that's one last thing I want to mention, going back to whether it's an attorney or a talent manager, is a team. As soon as you can afford, try to get an assistant, try to get someone to help you alleviate things that you're, maybe not as good at, whether it's editing or shooting, right? Even just having someone answer your emails, talk on the phone for you, so valuable, because at the end of the day, the reason brands come to you is because of the attention your audience has. But why the audience comes to you is because of your content. It's the most valuable thing. And that's why I started this whole presentation with the fact that you always want to be focused on quality content.
So the question would be, how do you get the attention of brands, and what are the tips to land these deals?
All right. So, That's exactly why you guys are here, right? Ultimately, those principles are nice and the basics, you already know them, but this is the key. These are the points that help you get those deals, those dream deals. Number one, to get the attention of brands, it does start with those basics. You've got to have quality content and you've got to have an audience, right? Secondly, you've got to have a way to be exposed to those brands or the reps or the agencies that represent those brands. And one way you do that is through that first point of growth. You want to make sure you're on platforms that when people search for things, they find your videos. This is why YouTube is so powerful. I feel our brands, my wife and I, have been able to get so many opportunities is because we're on a search-based platform. So when an agency that's representing a specific company, they're like, we want a mom influencer. They probably type in mom influencer or things around that, right? Like laundry. So maybe if there's a detergent company and we've got so many pieces of content, make sure you put out content on those searchable platforms. In addition to that, you got to hustle. You've got to pitch. You've got to go onto social media. You've got to hit up people. You've got to engage with brands. You've got to DM them. You've got to email them, phone calls, relationships with the brands at different events. You know, we used to all go to these VidCons and conventions. You can't do that as much anymore, but that's why these type of events are even more important. So make sure you guys are doing these things so that you guys can actually get in front of the brands or the agencies that represent them. It takes a lot of work. And what's unfortunate is, you know, this is beyond creating the content, engaging with the audience, but that's what it takes at the beginning. But trust me, if you do this long enough and you build this good reputation and people know you for your integrity and that you protect the value that you or the attention you have with your audience and you do good work, people are going to come to you. We get emails all the time. We have to say no constantly to brands that want to work with us. Great problem to have, right? You want to do that. But that wasn't just from pitching. That was also because the quality content that we have. I mentioned relationships, do a good job on all campaigns. One philosophy we have, and I forgot to mention this earlier, it's always got to be a win-win. It's like a win-win-win for three sides. Number one, is it a good partnership for the audience? Is it a good product, right? We will say no a million times, no matter how much you offer. We've had people double, triple, quadruple their offer for a bad product. And we just say, hey, it's not a product we believe in. Make sure you do that. Secondly, it's got to be a win for the brand. Don't just do this for a quick payday. Make sure they accomplish what they want, successfully putting their product in your content, making sure to give them a good call to action for their service, whatever it might be. And third, is it good for you, right? Does it really fit your brand and what you do? And are you getting paid? You're not doing these deals for the opportunity to work for the brand. You're doing these deals because they get the opportunity to work with you. Don't ever forget that. And lastly, how do you land the deals? All those things I just mentioned, and obviously making a win-win, but a couple like very like housekeeping kind of things that's a really almost people forget about it. Be professional, reply to emails, follow through, follow the timing, make sure that you're actually delivering on the things that are in the contract. This is why a team is important. When we do deals, we have people that are double checking the fine print. We're like, did we do all these posts? Did we use a hashtag? Did we hit them up where they needed? So when you're a professional like that, I can just tell you from experience working not only with brands, but even influencers and in between, the fact that they really appreciate that. It's a nightmare sometimes for agencies. It's like wrangling in sheep, right? It's like a babysitting job sometimes because influencers are focused on their content, rightfully so. So if you're one of those influencers, whether you're small or big, that can bring that professionalism and be consistent, they love that.
From Jillian M, but also from a ton of people, they want to find where they can get a base list, like a base rate. How can they, if they're starting off brand new, how can they get that, find their value with the rate?
I mentioned this early on. So if you're just spilling into this breakout session, what I would tell you is if you're starting out from zero, or even maybe have 500, 1,000 subscribers, even maybe in 10,000 range, and you're like kind of lost, first start with the fact that it costs money to create a video for this product or service or for this brand. So that might be a few $100s. Literally ask the videographers in your community, in your city, in your world, how much it would cost a brand to hire them to create this video for them. And I literally start there. So even at 0 subscribers, when they ask you to create content, that's a good place. So that could be 300, that could be 1,000, right? Whatever that base rate is, just for the content itself. That has nothing to do with the influence. So in addition to that, I mentioned before, $1,000 per 10,000 views, but that can quickly go up based on the different variables, right? How valuable is your audience? How loyal are your viewers? What type of quality content? Do you sell products well? Like when you talk about something, do like 9 out of the 10 people that watch your videos go to your Amazon link and buy your product? Like those are things. It's so hard, Jordan, for me to just give a rate, a base rate, but that's why I start. Like, so let's say it costs the company $500 to make a video that you're going to make on your channel for them. You start there. Plus say you're getting 5,000 views. Would that be another $500? That's $1,000 just for that. But maybe you're a very niche channel and your audience is unique, and this company that wants to work with them, that's exact audience that they can't get themselves because they're focused on products. Does that make sense, Jordan? How like there's so many variables that can stack it, because you can be charging anywhere from like, $10,000 for 100,000 views as maybe a bigger influencers, versus say you're a very niche channel, very unique audience, valuable expenditures on the side of these viewers. You can charge $10,000 for a video that doesn't even get like a few thousand views. If you're into luxury yachts, right? I mean, those people are spending a lot of money. The yacht companies might be willing to pay a lot of money. So it's a loaded question, but it gives you a little more context. This is why you want to have relationships with influencers. This is why you want to know people in the industry. This is why you eventually want some kind of talent management, and just do deals. You're going to learn. And the last thing I'd say this, push the limits. Sometimes like every few months, I'm like, hey team, we're upping our rates for no good reason at all, because maybe I haven't heard from what's going on. And you know what? Almost every single time, they've always said yes. And it's because we're always bringing quality content. So I know that it's not a black and white answer, but it's a good start. And remember, even at 0 subscribers, you still bring value. So charge money for these integrations.
So good. Yeah, we love that. I think it's always helpful to just get, to put into practice and just learn that the loaded question comes with experience and time.
There you
go. So thank you for that. I do have a question that I think came in. A few people also were asking this. Jason is asking, how do you know if all companies are legitimate? The legitimacy of a company reaching out to you, not wanting to be taken advantage of. How can you help someone and guide them through choosing the right brand and staying true to those values?
I literally thought about that to this day for my own audience, right? The reason it's a great question is you don't want to be working with somebody that's trying to scam you. One of the number one easiest ways is look at their email. If it's an email that's just at Gmail or it's a personal email, it has no reference to like a proper thing. It's all good neutrally. Then you know that that's something that is skeptical. If they're coming from a proper brand email and you look at the URL and you look at their information and their information about them, that's great. Secondly, if they're at an agency, just go to the website. Most people can pinpoint a scam website. So that's secondly. And then 3, right? I mean, like, disclose to people like what you're looking for. And again, experience is key. And when you're first starting out, I'd say tread lightly. and try to work with less people. Don't work with a ton of people, which is a philosophy you should keep throughout. But in the beginning, you're trying to literally replace your full-time income with just brand deals. And if you've got a smaller audience, you're not going to be able to charge as much, obviously, because a lot of the rate is based off of the influence or the amount of impressions your videos get. So I work with people that you trust, and also get referrals from other influencers. But when anyone can literally start an email and email you whenever they want, it is a problem and a challenge, even for us at our thing. Like, our email is public, so anybody could hit us up, and I'm always questioning it. In fact, sometimes when I see a sketchy email, even though I don't answer emails, I will tell my teams, like, do not reply to this because it looks like it might not even be a real thing, because we have people try to scam us before. And again, experience is important.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I have another really great question. What are some key phrases for negotiation when someone is reaching out to a brand?
Key phrases. Okay. You know, you don't have to actually negotiate very much if you know what you're doing. And this is why I started my presentation saying know more than the other side. Do your research, know what the market is charging. One key phrase I'd say is, okay. So for example, like, say you're trying to get numbers, I almost never share my numbers first. And they're going to say, like, well, what's your rate? What's your rate sheet? We do not have a rate sheet for brands, which, believe it or not, like, blows people's minds even after 10 years of doing this. And this is why. This is my reply to people when they ask. They say, well, we need a rate sheet. I say, well, we don't have one, because all of our rates are based off of the deliverables, such as key messaging, calls to action, and a lot of other variables that would determine the final rate. If you say it like that, so just replay this and put that line, it makes you sound so professional and like you know what you're doing. So definitely really important to have a key phrase like that. Another key strategic line, Jordan, is say no. But I say it in a respectful manner. What I do is, I appreciate the opportunity to work with your brand or company, but at this time we will pass. Thank you so much, and please consider us for the future. That's a great way of saying no. And the reason I say that is sometimes the best negotiation is walking away. Trust me, I've walked away from so many deals where the brands come after me. I've actually had a brand before, their agency reached out to us. We went through negotiations. They wanted more things than what was initially discussed. I walked away. The brand itself directly, not the agency, they had my phone number because I knew somebody there. Hey, Benji, they really screwed up. Tell us what you need, because we want to work with you. And we got like an amazing opportunity because of that. And so don't discount walking away, which is hard to do when you're just starting out, but it's the truth.
Yeah, that's good. It's hard to do, but it makes sense. You have the power back in your hands. So that is super powerful. I think a lot of people need to hear that you don't have to say yes to everything that comes your way. You have power, you have value in what you're giving. So that's awesome. Another question I really want to get asked is, how do you charge for premium rates?
How do you charge for premium rates? Well, everything I did, like everything I explained, is leading to getting premium rates, quality content, right? A specific niche, a valuable audience, experience, and saying no to more deals than you say yes. That's going to lead to premium rates. And of course, one of the ways that they pay you less than a premium rate is because you're willing to take it. So going back to the walking away, really important. Like, stand up for the value you bring to the table. Don't be pressured by these bullies. Sometimes they're bullied, like straight up. They say, well, this other influencer charged this much, or this is the going rate. Well, like, what's that mean to me? Because there's so many variables that are considered here. And if they're asking different things. So premium rates really comes from experience. It really comes from knowing more than the other side, and ultimately knowing the value you bring to the table because you have got quality content. But I'd say one of the big things is it's all of this put together, even hustling. So we have gotten more great, amazing deals from actually pitching brands than we got just coming to us. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes great brands, and we have relationships with many agencies, are awesome. But sometimes when I know there's a brand that's the dream brand of Judy or mine, and I go to them, I can create those deals, and it takes that work. But without all the basics and the principles, then you're not going to get those rates. There's no silver bullet here for rates. And lastly, growth. The more views you get, the more you can charge. So don't discount that. Like, just say, well, I've got a niche channel. Well, you know, there are multiple billions of people, so you can grow. And then once you grow and you're doing all those other things, you can charge premium rates.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's super helpful for our team and everybody watching to just understand how to get those rates and push up that price for us. So this will be our last question, which actually has to do with what you were just talking about. You mentioned that you actually really like when you, as your team, reaches out and pitches. Yeah. So a lot of people are asking, how do they pitch to a brand? How do they represent themselves?
So make sure when you're pitching that you have something to pitch, not just the idea, but your channel. Don't pitch when you have 0 subscribers, 0 views. I did mention you still bring a lot to the table, but if you're going to pitch them, you're going to have more leverage when you got something going on. This is why don't even think about doing brand deals for the first few months, first year, if you're really serious about becoming a premium influencer, charging premium rates, and you just got to hustle, right? Building the relationships is a great shortcut to getting to the gatekeepers, the decision makers, and knowing who those people are. But hit people up on DMs, like all these brands that you want to work with. Just DM them, right? Oftentimes, the social media managers, they'll know when a legit channel shows up in their DM, and they're going to do research, and it's like half the battle is won, because then they're going to tell their agency or their brand representation, hey, this is somebody we should be working with. And, you know, for the sake of time, there's not much else I can say other than you just hit them and consistently drip on them, and also just genuinely engage with them. Don't just ask for stuff. Like on social media, support their posts, like them, retweet their stuff, help them engage with their audience. Those are the kind of things that they're small things, but they can add up over long periods of time when you do it consistently. Hey, hit that like button if you got value out of it. If you want to see more information about growing your channel and making money on YouTube, go to the link below at learnvideo.live, and make sure you pick up a copy of YouTube Secrets. You can get it on audiobook at Audible and Amazon. If you want to see our full playlist on how to do more brand deals, click or tap the screen right here. As always, we're helping build your influence, income, impact with online videos. This has been Video Influencers.